Right, everyone. Hi, Davis here, as always. And yeah, today we're going to get back at it with our illustration. Mm, Wait, yeah, give me a second. Let's just pull it like this, close this, just to be sure. Mm, Alrighty. No key. Okay, so before we properly start, please do let me send out energy. I don't know why, but like my eyes are burning for no reason. It smells like smoke in here. I don't know if someone is not like burning anything behind, and like my AC is like sucking out the air from the outside, and it's literally the whole smoke and shit, entering my home. Yeah. So Converci, we continue my entry for CSP competition. Davis Moriarty, CH, art. Oh, actually, okay, I need manga, digital art, digital, digital arts. No idea what's the difference. But yeah, drawing and drawing art. Okay, let's post that up. Okay. I think I've got everything here. I guess I need to keep um my references on. All right. Okay. So let's get at it. So on the last stream, we've finished off the proper proper sketch, right? And on this stream, we're supposed to make the line art. So that's exactly what we're going to do today. I'm just going to go over everything, and I don't know why, but my screen is all sticky. Like that's a weird problem that I have. Like I don't even know why or when, but like I'm getting like some stains, and it's not like I have anything like sticky around. Like I don't drink, I don't have Coke close enough, I don't eat close enough to it, right? So like I shouldn't really have that unless there's like some residue on my hands after like trying to grab the glass and stuff. Yeah, that could be it. So yeah, Alright. I'm just going to slowly work on the constructions. Not really constructions, but like, you know, the line art itself. So the goal today is to fix the lines, right? Fix the whole thing and prepare for the flats. But if we're going to have, you know, some time to spare, we'll start maybe making flats. We'll see. All right. And my eyes are burning. I have no idea what's going on. It literally feels like there's freaking smoke inside. You know when you're like at some barbecue and the smoke like starts blowing in your face. It's literally the same type of burning in the eyes. I have no idea. I have absolutely not even a single idea for that. All right. I'm just trying my best, like keep everything like proper lines, but sometimes it's just so difficult to really pull it off. Although hairs are really always really problematic to like make proper line art for it. They're always like, they need to be kind of like fragmented and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And I still haven't really touched the Blade and Soul. I have to like get to it. I do need to like watch some of that anime, to be fair. So that's why, yeah, I don't have much stuff. Although I've been playing a little bit of that new Lego Batman, I have to say it's rather cool. It's rather good. Um, I've started to notice that the fighting, well, basically the mapping for keyboard is pretty bad. Like, I, like, okay, I understand that you are like trying to implement things to work well on consoles too, and like allowing people to play on the gamepad, but you have to be kind of considerate for people who are not going to play on the gamepad, and like also make like good mapping for the buttons on the keyboard, because like a lot of people don't really want to change the buttons, because it's like, for one, if it's a game, for example, like Lego, where you're like, and especially that Lego Batman, when you're like figuring out the buttons as the game goes, right? It's kind of going to spoil you what you're going to be doing in the game, right? Like what may be the thing, and like it's going to make things a bit more complicated for you. So like I really don't like the way how they went for when it comes to the buttons for it, right? But in general, I really like the climate the game has, because it has like the typical Lego game climate, and that's exactly what I was kind of looking for. Although there are like several things that I don't know, just don't really make any sense for me, but I guess life is life, I guess. All right. That's the alrighty. We're slowly but surely, like, building things around. I'm going to keep some lines, you know, with an opacity, because I don't want to cluster things, and I'm going to like kind of go for the same painterly effect that Tuna does for this illustration. I guess same thing applies for the Mio and Fubuki illustration, right? That's exactly the same thing that we wanted to do. We're still going to continue this illustration, by the way. It's just the fact that there's this competition that we have, and I really want to take part in it. And like I'm trying also with this one, which is actually, I have to say, it might be a bad choice to do this, but I'm kind of experimenting with this one too, because I want to make the lines. I mean, I want to make how to say this. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. But actually, this line is going to disappear like this because this line is going to bend a bit differently. And why, I'm telling you right now, because this line is the portion of the veil here. Yeah. Like, probably it's going to be very difficult to really like portray it as the moon, quote unquote, moon and stars. But I don't know. We'll see. One way or another, it's, yeah, we're just going to shoot our shot. And yeah, that's that. Actually, that hair strand goes differently because it goes like this. Yeah, but it's not really working for me anymore. Like that hair strand makes more sense than this one. So this needs to be erased. That's exactly why, like, fixing your lines is also really important. Like quite often I'm just going over the lines that I'm making, but without even thinking. But considering that I really want to like get into like putting up a little bit more quality, I've already been trying to like do some more quality into my works. I also wanted things to be slightly, more, how to say this, slightly faster. And now with this illustration and Mia and Fubuki illustrations, yeah, like I really want to pull up with things, kind of. I'm not going to make like those lines, behind the transparent material, anyhow line arted. Mostly because again they are like behind they're behind the transition material, right? Alright. Like this. I don't need to like make the knuckles thinner. That's the problem I've been facing with my resolutions. I don't even know what good resolution I should be using because I'm using like typical resolution that you'd use, at least the ratio, and it's kind of comfortable in this ratio. But like the illustration itself is, I don't even know. Yeah, that's that. And like I'm doing that roll the closer mm, to the lights or something is going to be, the thinner line are supposed to be. I'm not even sure where my lights are going to land in the end, to be fair. So I'm not really sure. What I'm sure of is that those lines should be like very freaking thin. Just like that. Bit by bit. So like this. And this. All right. But that. I'm not sure about those lines. But whatever, at this point. At this point, whatever. I think that I'm going to also make, like, in general, the line art for that translucent material opaque. Like, I'm not going to give it a proper line art, you know? Like, maybe around, like, areas where it's going to merge with something, like here and here. But besides that, I think it should be, you know, very, like, thinned out. Because in the end, you know, it is going to be, you know, translucent, right? So it doesn't need, like, a normal, like, full-on selection. Because it's supposed to be just, like, you know, a material, right? Just translucent, like, piece of cloth. All right. Oh yeah, this one is supposed to be this some kind of, like, earring, right? That's what it's supposed to be, at least. So this supposed, considering that this is the piece of the veil, it's supposed to be also lined out like this. I couldn't make the, I can't make the proper arch. Like this. Okay. I guess that works. Mhm. Oh, you know, just ever so slowly we're working out the lineup. It starts to look good actually, like with all the edits that I'm doing for it, basically. You know, like for example, the line variation. You know, the line weight. I haven't really added line weight in a while. I see that, for example, Renatuna is using it as a matter of fact. It's not like he's not using it because he is. It's just his lines are very difficult. I mean, difficult. They're very strange because he doesn't really have like proper line art. He has an outline. That's what his line art is. It's just an outline of the like out like every single item basically. So eyes, nose, and mouth are kind of like separate items on the face, and that's why those are like separately line arted. But if you're going to look into like how do you say it, if you're going to look into like his, let's say, like interior lines, like for example those like clothing folds and stuff, they're inexistent. He doesn't have line art for those, and basically he's just like painting all those like creases. He's just making sketch of them, but then he's painting over that sketch. That's why he's shading he's making flats and then he's shading on top of the line art because he's merging his line art with his colors. I want to attempt that again, by the way. That's why I'm doing it for me and for book illustration, and why I'm doing this on this illustration too, because I just want to try it as fast as possible. So this, yeah. Yeah, because that's like going to be, the like split, right? Let's thin out this line art. All right. Let's keep that line like this, and let's make this line thinner like this. Yeah, that works well. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing, right? So like the fold lines are going to just be there kind of for the sketch, just so I would know. But I don't really understand his line art is all like getting always turned into like different thing. Because he's always setting, what was it? Not darken. Uh I I won't find it. No, whatever. Whatever. All right. Okay. Yeah. But again, like I don't really like smaller resolutions. I'm so used to like high resolutions. Because like with smaller resolutions, you need to have things like zoomed out quite a lot. And for me, it's like very difficult to really catch up like stability of my line. You know what I'm saying? So whatever, however I'm like, drawing that line, I have to zoom in so much that I see pixels, and that's really bad for you if you see pixels after zooming in. But then like it's very difficult to really do like higher coverage. Like for example, it would be really darn difficult to color her skin tone. It would be very difficult to pull off like other things. It's just that. I can already. I'm already seeing the freaking pixels over here. Okay. copy. All right. Let's just make like a small theme pass like this. Same here, because that's going to be like a thicker material, right? So slightly thicker lines, at least the ones like this. And those, as a matter of fact, shouldn't be done like that. Those should be done with this. Yeah, you know, because it's like the internal line. Yeah, works much better. All right. Okay. Here's that. Yeah. It might get really problematic over time, but whatever. Right. This is going to be probably like the only how to say this, the only internal line that is going to be kind of you know, line with a line art, mostly because it's like one end of the material overlapping another end of the material, kind of like this, because this is like one stripe, right? But over here this is like, you know, it's not like one stripe just, you know, going like that in a similar way. It's like, you know, piece of clothing just overlapping on another one, you know, but it's like from the same material. Okay. All right. I have to say that now, as the Fishman Island arc ended in One Piece, I'm just going to go like from the. I'm now going for the newest arcs basically in the anime. The ones that are like, you know, piling up to the like great end of the story. Mm, okay. Liner is always like taking like unnecessary. I want to say unnecessarily, but I know there's like necessity for liner to take so much time, but I just I don't like it, you know. I don't like spending so much time on the line art itself. But then, like, my only alternative is like drawing without the line art, and it's going to be even longer in making. Like, line art is actually speeding up like other stuff, and like it's ever so slightly faster than drawing without the line art. But my main problem is, you know, just the fact that it's long. That's why I'm like always trying to speed things up. I'm just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just very impatient when it comes to my system, you know? Okay. Yep. Works fine. The lines are, yeah, I can't. I can't make this so thing, basically. It just doesn't work. I don't know. Yeah, just adding a couple more lines basically for everything. Sorry that there's no music again. Like Chill Hop is having some problems with just showing things off. It's going to work well, way better if we are going to like use their songs in the videos and not the streams. Yeah. I'm wondering if I should make that, give that a proper line. Okay. This line needs to be thick. That's for sure. Because it's like squeezing around your stomach, right? And then we are going to have this line to be thinner. Kind of like this. This line is going to be thin. Yeah. I have to admit, like it's actually looking good. It's actually looking better, just slightly, ever so slightly. At least the liner is starting to look like something that I haven't really done in a while, or just in general, it's looking slightly better in my opinion. I really like the thin line art, basically. That's going to be problematic. I don't know if the torn pantyhose was good idea, That line is going to be thick. Okay. Uh, let's thin that line here. Let's do it like this. Yeah, that works. That actually works. Okay, let's try to thin out this portion. And kind of fix the shape of everything, to be fair, because like this material in general is like it's okay, but it does have couple things that, you know, to fix, basically. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it does feel okay. It's just, yeah, it doesn't feel, this element doesn't work, I guess. Maybe like this. Thanks for the hearts on YouTube. Thank you. Hi, hi. I hope YouTube is not hiding anyone's messages because like it doesn't show me any message. But thank you so much for the hearts in the thing, in the chat. Yeah. I I'm trying to like speed speed through like most of this, you know, this material because it's supposed to have like thin line art. Just like this element, right? So like in because in general it's going to have thinner line art only because it's going to be translucent material, right? So we are now thinning out lines for this cloth, but also we're like trying to pull off like other stuff, you know, like line art for other pieces. So in general, it's just going to take some time to work it out because like I'm drawing and also like erasing pieces of the line art. So yeah. And this is in fact also going to stay translucent and thin because it's behind a translucent material. So that's the goal. That's the goal. And everything's going to be like that. But also, I don't really know if that's a good idea, those things. Like these there, okay, right? Like those little bumps, that seems okay. But like genuinely adding those things might not be working for us. Okay. Let's make note of this. Hi Victoria, glad to be here. How are you? Hope your husband. Sorry, wasn't really online lately. It's okay, Victoria. It's okay. That's fine. How have you been? Assume you are using your summertime, right? Did it already started for you? Personally, I'm slightly, slowly pulling through. A lot of stuff changed in my life, so adjusting. Nothing really special. Still 2 weeks before holiday. Just today, I just had test art. Oh, I see. Test art, you say? Ooh. And what did you draw for your test art? Huh? Okay. Those lines seem alright. Those need to be erased because, yeah, we won't be able to pull that off through transparent material. At least not with line art. It's going to be one of those elements that we'll have to kind of paint onto the thing while working on that. Observational studies example of fruit or a flower or an object. This time it was banana. We couldn't choose what to do. Oh, I see. I mean, yeah, like, because if you can't choose, that means like you don't have the freedom to pick things you are good at. So it's like kind of forcing you through to break the mold. You know what I mean? To like get through, to like, push through your comfort zone and expand horizons. It's very important to do that. Because to be fair, if you're not pushing on your horizons, you're not like experimenting with stuff, you're basically not progressing, right? Because you're not learning anything if you're not doing this. So, uh, chapeau bas, as we say, the for the teacher. We have to explore different media and techniques: shading, oil pastel, watercolor, stippling. Oh, oh my god, so much to do. Yeah, that's true. But I feel like forcing someone to a different medium is a bit like step too far, because like everyone has their own favorite media, and like sure, it's really cool to test out new ones, but like if you are, for example, a like you prefer pencils, right? I feel like you should be developing your skills more within pencils. You know what I mean? Like you should focus first when you're like starting to draw, like just still progress your drawing skills. I feel like you should genuinely progress your own, like your favorite media, because that's helping you to learn faster too. But like push on your comfort zone and learn how things are looking to build your visual library, and like learn some theory, like shape theory or color theory, right? So yeah, without that, I do feel like considering that your teacher is like only making you like draw banana, it's also a little bit stale technique to teach. It's good, but there are faster ways to learn, if you know what I mean. So that's that. But like, for example, I'm a digital artist, right? And considering that I've tried so many different medias, it actually kind of supported me in progressing faster on digital art, right? Because I already have some experience with different media already, and it's like rules for those media are not changing in digital, besides like infinite resources like paper or paint, for example, right? But the techniques are still the same. Like, for example, if I would want to uh, paint in the style of Michelangelo Buonarroti, right? Or Leonardo da Vinci or Caravaggio, those techniques can still be translated into digital art. So in general concept, like all you need to do is to like just focus on like on progressing what you really want to go for. In the end, like schools are not going to teach you stylization either. Like style is something you need to like work on by yourself. school is only there to teach you realism, right? So like how to use realistic like proportions, colors, subsurface scattering, full shadow, half shadow, quarter shadow, bounce light, did I mention subsurface scattering? I think so. But yeah, that too. There's just so much like theories that are like, despite those are like realistic theories and like generally realism knowledge, you're still using this in your stylized artworks, right? Like you do keep your proportions human, realistic, right? If, for example, one character has like longer arm than the other, and it's supposed to be normal person and not like some mutant, then yeah, like you've made a mistake, like because you've like made one arm longer than the other one. So in general, that's why in art schools they are teaching you how to draw realistically and not stylistically, because you can't learn purely realistic everything, like realistic knowledge and stuff, without realistic models, without realistic examples. If you are going to like draw based off of anime, someone might still make mistakes in their anime styles, right? That's why you have to learn on your own the realistic knowledge and translate it into your own style, into your own stylization. And I know it might be pain in the ass because, like, you know, come on, it's like, who wants to draw realism besides, like, you know, people who are really crazy over it, you know? Everyone prefers like realism or not realism, sorry, anime or semi-realism, something between the line of that, but people don't like the normal realism. Most likely also because like realism itself is boring. If, for example, I would draw like purely realistic, purely realistic piece, I would have to draw like, I don't know, some kind of, I don't know, a farmer, you know, just everyday life. That's what realism is for. It is for portraying the everyday life, realistic everyday life. So no demons, no angels, no unicorns, no nothing, right? Just sheer realistic reality, you know? And like, sure, I think it would make sense. I swear I love drawing, but I hate when people tell me what to draw, like in art class. Yeah, that's that, you know? That's also something that you kind of have to break through. For example, if you want to connect art with your future, like job and stuff, you need to be ready to actually draw what people are telling you to draw. Like, this is what how commissions are working. It's something that I'm not really good at, to be honest. In the color theory, when students in my class were confused when the teacher said to put purple to add shadow. Trust me, that's the art teacher who he knows what he do, and it worked, of course. Yeah, I mean that's the thing, because like people don't really adjust, right? Because you look at the shadows and they are black, right? Like if I would like put like cover like portion, right? You see shadow on my hand. It's like black, it's gray, put on my skin, right? So people are looking at it and they see that realistically it's not purple, it's black. Everything's black. But it's not. In art it's purple. It's just as much as you put green on the skin tone, right? Or yellow or red, because like certain areas and like how blood circulation goes through the skin, like you're not going to expect green on your face, but it is, right? Just as much as blue. So like, for example, blue is going to be nearby, like, you know, hairs, right? Like around this portion of your, you know, your bottom eyelid, right? Like bluish purple when you have, like, you know, issues, like when you're sleep deprived, for example. But like you're going to have red on your on portions where like skin is stretched thin, like for example around the cheekbones or cheeks, nose, ears. You are going to have yellow on your forehead. In you're going to have green around here, here. Red is going to be around here. Blue around the mouth corners. Um, Green around, you know, this area, right? Yellow here on the top of your chin. Like there's going to be like a lot of like really weird things that you don't see on everyday life, you know, drawing. But if you actually start adding those things, you're going to see a huge difference between like how differently the skin tone can look like. So I'm not shocked that, you know, people were confused, you know, with the color theory, because of course. But yeah, like also there's like much more crazy elements, right? Also, did your teacher taught you already about like half shadow, full shadow, quarter shadow, terminator, subsurface scattering for like lights and whatnot? So yeah, that's the whole thing. Also, Victoria, did you watch anything recently? Anything cool in general, or read anything interesting? Play a game? Also, now I've remembered you don't have like summer, right? Because like, yeah. What do you mean by full shadow, half shadow? I don't think I've done that before. So basically, you have full shadow, which is going to be like as dark as it can be possibly can be. But if you're like going and like when the light source is like hitting at certain angle and from certain distance, right? So like, for example, wait, let me pull up a new thing. So let's say we have a plane here, right? That's a plane. And we're going to have a ball here, right? Or rather, yeah, let's just paint a ball here. So we have a ball, right? And there are a couple things, right, that you can still go through. But let's focus on full shadow and half shadow. So if you look at, let's say, certain elements, right? Like for example, if I put my finger here, you can see that there's a shadow here. But if I like start like pulling it off, or like, you know, if you know how you watch those late night football matches and the shadow kind of splits, right? It creates this some kind of like effect that there's like there's this and there's that, right? So this merged area, actually let me show you. If I put shadow color here, right, and I put shadow color here, you can see that the shadows that are not overlapping are of a certain tone. It's the same tone. but the one on the merge is going to be like darker and more refined, right? It's going to have like refined edges, while those shadows are going to blend, right? Like this. So the shadows that blend and are genuinely weaker in color are the half shadows, and the merged like hard lined shadow, it's a full shadow, because like those are only halves of it, right? And you can like make the same thing, right? If I'm going to like add another one here, so you can see that like this, right, and this is the same tone, but you have another color here. Also, there's like, you know, subsurface scattering, which is basically like determining what color something is going to be based off of like how the material acts under light, you know? So for example, we have skin, right? And if you shine light on the skin, it's going to do something specific. You'll see that edges of where the light shines are going to be reddish. Why? Because there's actually, because of the two reasons, right? So it's actually because if we have the skin, right? We have the skin layer and we have like blood vessels underneath the skin, right? And what color the blood is? It's red. So now if the light shines here, we're not bouncing the entire light, right? We're absorbing some of the light because of course, like if something like something has a color only because the skin absorbs everything, right? But that specific color that we see, that's the tricky thing about light. So basically, if like, I don't know, that's supposed to be red, it's going to like absorb all of the colors besides red. And that's why we see the red, because it's the color that's getting bounced off of it, right? But now if we have like, you know, skin, the light is going to slightly penetrate the skin and then bounce off. And that specific thing here is subsurface scattering, because the light hits the skin and it like scatters around like into different like, you know, smaller things. That's why we see that like reddish tint around the thing. And that's why we are like adding things there. There's also another thing which we are adding red to, and that's like the easiest thing to get into that. There's something called Terminator. A science class with me, interesting. It's actually art class. Victoria, it's actually art class. This is something you like your teacher probably is going to talk about in the art class, if you haven't talked yet. So the next thing is Terminator. So you know how you have half shadow and full shadows, right? Shadow also on surfaces is losing its thing, right? So let's say we have that line, and that's like where the shadow starts. And basically, the Terminator is going to be very specific on itself. I'm going to make that, and I'll get this, and make this, right, like this. And I'm going to blend this. Now, why is it? And what is exactly the Terminator here? Terminator is exactly this. Because the darkest element that jumps into light, that border on the shadow portion, that is the darkest, actually the darkest portion of the shadow. That's the terminator, because it terminates light, right? You can like get that. And usually what people do, they're taking red color and they're going in around here. And that's like the best like portion, like the best moment to put your subsurface scattering at, right? So for example, if we're going to get like a ball, right? If I'm going to get a ball and I want to like start shading it, there are going to be a couple things I'm going to look at, right? So I'm going to like start, you know, slowly build up things here. Right? And I'm basically going to like shade this. I'm going to, you know, do that. And now we are going to have something like that. Right? Because light hits here, so the shadow would be here. And it's like hitting from the top, so it's going to be kind of like this. But also it's going to have to cause something like this, right? So we have that half shadow, full shadow situation here going on. We can do that. And basically I'm going to take a small thin brush and make my highlight here. Right? I'm basically going to make the normal color here, right? And I can blend this. So now we have, you know, a sphere, right? And let's say, I don't know, so this is like the start, right? And then I can like, I don't know, like add something like here. Right? And that's going to like, you know, we'll be able to say that this is like an orange, right? And in this case, the details are going to be like placed around here. Because that's like where the light hits. Yeah. And should, I don't know. Right, and it would do the same like trick for it. And we have an orange, right? That's exactly like that's exactly everything I just, you know, explained to you. That's exactly the very same thing. Like I'm going to staple some, you know, polka dots around the light too. because that's like creating the texture, right? Orange. That's it. So it's basically like very specific. So you can see the Terminator here, right? That's the Terminator. We don't have the subsurface scattering because it's black and white, but it would be like also around here. We have half shadow and full shadow. We have, basically everything. So that's exactly everything about the shadows that most likely you're going to learn in your school. Such quick drawing, yeah. I mean that those things are not really that difficult. They might feel very daunting at the start, but it's nothing to worry about. The problem starts to be, when you're like making drawings in like stylization and you have something like this, basically. Like it's all very very comparable to um like all of the elements, basically. Going to that. I'm going to make that thinner. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to like push through the other stuff like subsurface scattering or other similarities to this drawing. Although because I don't think Rio Tuna uses that, I think he does though. I don't know. I'm going to check when we're going to start, coloring, just so I would know what elements I have to add. I'm wondering how my drawing would look like if I would actually use my knowledge, for that exactly. Like all of my realistic knowledge into the anime drawing, because like I'm kind of turning it off because mm, I guess in the back of my head I still have like words that oh, you shouldn't be taking all of the rules from realism to anime, and you should just leave it you know like that. But I feel like it's again that thing, like anime is just stylization of realism, right? It's like no matter what you'd be doing, it still should be kind of realistic while drawing. So I am wondering how would that look like if I would like start using my knowledge like comparable to all of that. Yep. Uh, all right. Okay. Um, there's still so much that's left to do. Alrighty. Let's just do it. The finger was too far away. It should be here. That one should be here. And that one should be here. There's that. Yeah, that works. So actually, Victoria, how much your teacher did taught you so far? Like comparing to what I've told you. I'm wondering how fast you're going through the program, because to be fair, a lot of stuff can be really explained rapidly, like quickly. Okay. Actually, this should be with the line art. This should be with the line art. Again, the translucent cloth is going to be with opaque line art, so it's not going to be corrected like this, right? Same like pieces behind it. Hi Muto, got over here. How are you? Hope it has gone. I'm tired. I see. So that's that. But I got my tubes changed. I see. Well, I hope at least the person knew what they're doing. Unlike that one time where actually the guy had absolutely no even a single freaking idea what to do. He getting better. I see. Mm, yeah, that's the star. Um, that okay. So this is going to be normal. If I could change him, I would, but I don't know how. I see. I mean, I guess you could like call the hospital that like takes care of it, but you know, because like sending someone home to the person, like first of all, it's yeah, that's already uncomfortable. Second of all, a guy that has absolutely zero idea what they are doing, that's another thing. And just basically it is confirmed that male nurses have it hard to stay like any kind of anyhow comfortable around like the patients because it's a male nurse. So like no matter what is going on with the female patient, the female patient is going to feel like pretty bad anyway because it's a guy. So like I have no idea why the hospital thought that it's any good to actually keep on sending male nurse around the to a female patient. The other it works also the other way around because like guys like male patients are going to feel all right around the like guys and women like no matter what, but female nurses are not going to feel well around male patients, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, this kind of thing going on. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Mm. So we're almost done with the line art. That was the goal for the stream. So I'm happy because we are fulfilling goals again. Um, But I feel like previously I would be able to like make the line art, then flats, you know, and sometimes I would even be able to like start shading. Now it just feels off. But I prefer to take things slower because I can like absorb what I've done, take a moment after each step, look back at things, change things on when needed actually, you know? Also veil is also going to be translucent, so I need to like keep in mind to go over the veils lines and fix that. So I hate ads. Mm-hmm. What was the last thing I've mentioned? I don't know. I see. So basically, mm, well, yeah. Um, Male nurse. Oh, so basically, like women are not going to feel comfortable around male nurses, but male patients are going to feel good around male nurses and female nurses, but female nurses are not going to feel well around male patients. So it's like I feel like actually nurses should be like strictly associated also with the patient to keep like the highest comfort levels for their patients. And I feel um like the hospital that doesn't really go for it, it's not really looking over the patient's comfort and their employees comfort. But like for example, I understand like, oh, because like it shouldn't matter what gender is the person that like helps you. True, but there are just some matters that people are not feeling comfortable to speak about to the opposite gender, right? Like for example, like just coming in and giving like vitamin shots, I mean like medicines and stuff. All right, right? But like when it comes to like procedures that are for example are like really close to like someone's body and stuff, it's like it's not going to be comfortable for both. It's not going to be comfortable for both. Same like with, for example, operations, right? Like it doesn't matter what gender is, for example, the doctor that operates on you, but it matters who's like, for example, when you're in your room and right, especially around like around moments when you're like, for example, I don't know, changing or something. Right, yeah. There's one thing I really hate what he does. What is it? I said it on Discord, okay. So, but to be fair, I'm almost done with my commission, so that's cool. Mm, mm. This commission is such a pain in the neck because of, you know, because it's a sequence. Like, I'm trying to figure out, poses for like at this point like like 7 stages, 7 pieces in the sequence. Because like you literally like went in and ordered like straight up 7 pieces, one after all together. So that's it's a bit messed up. Blip, blip. So yeah, I'm just going to fix this line art. We should be done. At least for this stream, because like I want to first make sure that she's finished, and then we're going to work on the background elements. You know, because like if we're going to finish her and it will turn out so if it's going to like turn out that basically I think you're running away from the ads. To be fair, actually ads are, watching ads really helps me out. But I'm going to send you what to download to get rid of them without subscribing on Twitch. I know. Because like I know, I understand why, I hate ads myself. So I'm not watching with the ads. And there's browser Brave. You can actually download it. It's also for mobile and it's also for iPad, right? For the Apple devices. So that's the browser you can get, and it's going to completely get rid of the ads. To be fair, I don't know why I'm watching still on Google Chrome when I'm on my phone and not on the freaking Brave. But yeah. Thank you for the hearts. Yeah, we are done with her at least. I'm going to rethink if I want to also refine the line art for everything else before we proceed with plots for her. If yes, we're going to on the next stream work out the line art for all the like side elements and stuff, and then we're going to get into the we're going to get into the flats on the same stream, because I don't think we should like have much problems with it. But yeah, I'm really happy that we, it's looking good. I think her head is small. Comparable to her chest. It's the right size. Like here, like the chest here should like contain your head basically. But is it? Nah. Compared to everything else. What you mean? Like hands should be like exactly like, as the bottom of your base of like bottom of your hand would be like at your chin. It would like the middle fingers would be like at the forehead, Hands are big enough. Like for example, compared to my head, right? Like my fist. I have small hands, by the way. I do have small hands. So like, compared to the fist compared to my face, it's like, it is, I find it fitting. Yeah. Maybe just a tiny bit. But I don't think the amount I would expand it for would actually matter. Like, because I would like expand it just so like the lines would be like maybe like around here. Like they would literally overlap with where the lines are right now. And I don't think it would actually make that big of a difference with expanding of the head. Yeah. Oh well. Oh well. Yeah. Where's Zega when you need him? I mean, let's check it with the What the poses? Characters. Well, the body type. There. Damn, that's like spot on. That's like genuinely spot on with the things. Right? Because this hand would be like rised up. Damn. I don't know how else I could like push it. I think it's like, yeah. But yeah, with the 3D model, it's comparable. And that's why I'm telling you, like, sometimes proportions might seem good. I mean, might seem wrong, but they're going to be in nature good. It's just like this really bizarre thing going on, you know? But alrighty, we've actually surprisingly we've crossed 2 hours today on the stream. So huge thanks actually for hanging out with me today. And as always, stay creative. And I hope to see you in the next one. Take care, man.